Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started.
Rhea Ripley's recent match ended in disappointment. This is because two stars didn't make their anticipated return. Tonight on WWE Raw, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky were set to team up against Roxanne Perez and Julia. This match was the main event of the show and had fans excited since there were rumors that Kairi Sane and Asuka could make their return. Kairi has been out of action since December 2024, while Asuka has been sidelined since Backlash 2024. The murmurs of the Damage Control members returning to action on Raw gained traction before Raw, with many thinking Sky would need some backup now that Dakota Kai is no longer with the company. Io and Rhea put on a hard-fought battle against Roxanne Perez and Julia tonight. They were able to pick up the win in the end. However, neither Kairi Sane nor Asuka made their presence felt tonight, leaving fans disappointed. Io Sky and Rhea have been feuding with Julia and Perez ever since the Raw following WrestleMania 41 when the heels ambushed the former and Stephanie Baker during their match. Ripley came out to make the save. When Rhea faced Roxanne the following week, Julia got involved, and this time, the Women's World Champion came out to make the save. It seems Ripley will now look to go after Sky and her women's title. The lights dimmed. The arena roared. Brutality blasted through the speakers, and Rhea Ripley emerged from the fog after weeks of injury rehab, her cold stare burning through the lens like a warrior returning from exile. Clad in new black and red gear with mommy etched across her jacket, Ripley's long-awaited return to WWE Raw was billed as the night's main event, a singles showdown against rising star Lyra Valkyria in what was hyped as a passing of the torch moment. Or perhaps a warning that Rhea wasn't going anywhere. But what unfolded left fans stunned, frustrated, and hungry for answers. The build-up, a comeback fueled by vengeance. Ripley had been sidelined for months following an injury caused in storyline by Liv Morgan, who then launched her Liv Morgan Revenge Tour, capturing the Women's World Championship in Ripley's absence. The feud was red-hot. Fans expected Ripley's return to be targeted, violent, and laser-focused on reclaiming her gold from Morgan. But WWE swerved hard. In a strange twist of creative direction, Liv Morgan wasn't even in the building. Nor was Dominic Mysterio, whose dynamic with both Morgan and Ripley had created a deeply emotional, and complicated, love triangle over the last several weeks. The absence of both stars led many to believe the company was delaying the climax of the storyline for a bigger stage, perhaps Crown Jewel or Survivor Series. Instead, Ripley's match with Valkyria was portrayed as a proving ground. Lyra, recently called up from NXT and gaining momentum, had impressed management with her grit. The match was meant to be a show stealer. But as the bell rang, something felt off. A sloppy match, a disengaged crowd. The opening lockup had energy. Ripley pushed Lyra into the corner, establishing dominance. Lyra answered with agile counters and quick strikes, trying to chop down the powerhouse. For 5 minutes, things looked promising. Then it unraveled. Ripley appeared slower than usual. At one point, she visibly clutched her side after a suplex. Lyra seemed unsure whether to continue or back off. A mistimed moonsault resulted in Lyra landing awkwardly, narrowly avoiding serious injury. The crowd began murmuring. The energy fizzled. Ripley attempted to powerbomb Valkyria, but the lift was sluggish, and Valkyria barely rotated mid-air. A flat landing and awkward pin attempt led to a 2 count met with silence. After a series of uninspired exchanges, Ripley hit Riptide, but not with her usual fire. 1, 2, 3. She won. But there was no celebration. No post-match promo. Just silence from Ripley as she stood, unsmiling, in the ring. She stared at the ramp. Almost like she was waiting. No Liv. No Dom. No emotion. Backstage, WWE officials scrambled as social media erupted with questions. Where's Liv Morgan? Why didn't Dominic return with her? Is this setting up something bigger or did WWE just miss the mark? Fans had expected a return angle filled with chaos. Perhaps Dominic would appear torn between the two women. Maybe Liv would attack Rhea mid-match to build more heat. Instead, there was nothing. No interference. No confrontation. Just a cold, distant match that didn't live up to its billing. Adding to the mystery, WWE's official Instagram account posted, and quickly deleted, a graphic that featured Ripley, Dominic, and Morgan under the caption, "Collision Course, Tonight." That only fueled rumors that creative plans had been abruptly changed. Backstage whispers, creative confusion and real-life tension? Sources within WWE, speaking anonymously, indicated that there had been significant rewrites just hours before Raw went live. Originally, the plan was to have Liv Morgan interfere, with Dominic caught in the crossfire. But something changed. Something happened, the source said. Whether it was a call from higher-ups or travel issues or injury status, Liv and Dom were pulled from the segment. Rhea was told to go out there and work a straight match. Other whispers suggest Ripley may not be 100% cleared for full contact work. The visible wincing during the match supported that theory. Perhaps the match with Valkyria was simply a test, a gentle reintroduction, before launching into the real story with Liv. Still, fans weren't happy. Many voiced frustration over the lack of payoff. We waited months for Rhea's return and that's what we get? At Pro Wrestle Tribe on X. No Liv. No Dom. No drama. Just a flat match and no story. This ain't it. At heel turn Harry. What happens now? The two missing stars loom large. Liv Morgan, riding her hottest heel run to date, was expected to gloat or confront Rhea directly. Her entire recent character arc revolves around being the woman who broke mommy. To ignore that story, even for one night, seemed baffling. Dominic Mysterio's absence was even more jarring. For over a year, his identity in WWE has been intertwined with Ripley's. His emotional spirals, caught between affection for Liv and loyalty to Rhea, were setting up a Shakespearean payoff. Instead, he vanished without explanation. Some speculate WWE is saving the full triangle for a premium live event. Others believe a swerve may be in the works, perhaps even a turn from Dominic against both women. Meanwhile, Rhea Ripley left the ring without her usual swagger. No words. No message to Morgan. No threat. Just an icy glare and a slow walk up the ramp. It didn't feel like victory. It felt like the calm before a storm. Final thoughts, misfire or master plan? The match might be remembered less for the action and more for what didn't happen. Rhea Ripley's return deserved a moment, a defining comeback, a statement of intent. Instead, it landed flat. Not because she wasn't ready, but because the pieces around her weren't in place. Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio's absences were glaring holes in a story that fans are emotionally invested in. Whether this was a hiccup, a logistical issue, or part of a bigger slow burn angle remains to be seen. But one thing is clear, the audience is still waiting. And Rhea Ripley, standing alone in the spotlight, seems ready to burn the entire division down. Just as soon as the others show up.